Yeah, you're exactly right, Margaret. It is a little more on the snow side, ready for bots, right? You just need the snow. Tough to do. This is a cold, mainly dry air mass for us. But hey, we'll take a look at the longer term here in a second. Hope you guys are doing well. Welcome to the afternoon version here of SnowTALK. I'm waiting meteorologist Brian Good. I hope you guys had a good, safe Thanksgiving. If you went out and did some shopping, well, I feel sorry for you. I hope you did well in the crowds. It seemed like it was busier this year than what previous years, at least on the camera feeds I've seen. It seemed busier in a lot of the stores than I remember before, at least busier longer too, which was a nice thing to see. But today it's all about staying inside and doing the shopping, right? That's a good thing because it's cold out there. So that works out just fine. Now, I'm going to cover some of the short term. We'll look at the snowboard here in just a second. For you snow lovers, you're probably not going to be too happy, but it's not all bad news when you look at the scheme of things that we still got a lot to get through before we even say this is a sealed and done type of winter for sure. We're still in autumn. All right, we're still in autumn, but I know we get eager, we get excited. And this is the time of the year too, though. If we ever really want snow, it is December, and especially late December, it is probably the most popular time to get snow. So for it to line up is it's tough to get it to line up in general around here, but get it to line up at the right time. It's happened. It happened last year. But to get it to line up this year, we'll see how that's going to work out in the next couple of weeks. All right, let's get into the snowboard. We'll start there. Oh, by the way, you guys can always comment on Facebook, Twitter, and on YouTube. I got several of you from all over the place here today, so thank you all for logging in. Appreciate that. All right, so the snowboard. Yeah, it's empty. But here's the thing. Today, there's a small window for a flake or two. I did see one or two fly by, and I double-checked. I didn't have dandruff, but I double-checked. So one or two snowflakes possible that could fly by today, but you wouldn't really notice them. And if you did, your friend next to you probably wouldn't believe you because it'd be that isolated and that fast. So just don't be surprised if you were to see it. Looking ahead, we're in a pattern, as you're about to see, where the colder air is currently placed on the globe. It's one of those setups that you've got to get everything kind of timed out just right. It is a pattern you can get snow out of, but it's not an overly cold pattern. So to see it show up in the extended, any chance for snow is going to be much more of a challenge in this pattern here for the next few weeks. I'm hoping it's not the sign for the rest of winter, but who knows? But it likely shows up in more of the short range outlook. So that's going to put us on a time crunch on getting the systems out. So at the moment, looking at everything, I don't see anything that certainly deserves to be on the board. And there's certainly more mild weather to go. But hey, how about Erie, Pennsylvania? Now, earlier you couldn't even see the church, but at the moment, you can. It's been off and on, typical of lake effect. There's one more band about to hit that area into Erie here very soon. The lakes are not frozen over, so that allows for a lot of warmth and moisture to be fed into that cold wind coming in from the Arctic right now. So that we're on the drier side way down here in Kentucky, but up there into up the lakes, they get all the moisture. So it's just a big burst of snow, 12 to 18 inches is their outlook. You leave near downtown and nothing. So it's talk about a tough forecast. They've got it there into Erie PA. But I love lake effect snow. I've yet to ever go up there to experience it. I would like to. I think it'd be interesting to see the bands, the way they form, but always pretty fascinating. See the camera shaking there at the last minute. All right, enough of that jealousy. I'll move on. 38 degrees in Louisville now. We really haven't moved a whole lot. And with the mostly cloudy sky that's in place, we're not going to move a lot today. We could still gain 1 or 2 more degrees if we can get the sun hit the sensor enough this afternoon. But that's going to be the exception rather than the rule on that. You can tell down in Bardstown, the sun's been able to hit a little more. So you guys are about 41 versus areas to the north have had more cloud cover holding on. So you're not moving much at all. And here's proof of that. Looking at the satellite, you can see there's a little more of a partly cloudy setup in southeast areas of the metro in southern Kentucky. A lot of sun in southern Kentucky, by the way. You get into Indiana and near the river, it's mainly overcast. And this batch of clouds is heading right into Louisville. So for Louisville, if anything, our temperature could actually drop 1 or 2 degrees with this batch of clouds. Although we get some time here on the other side, we may try to bounce back up if we have enough daylight left to work with. Either way, that's a very long-winded way to say it's cold. All right, looking at the path of the snow. I love this on visible satellites from space. When the sun comes up, it lights up the path of the snow that fell over the holiday weekend. Isn't that cool? You can see the exact track of it all. And if I zoom in even more, you can see the lakes. Now, what's moving are clouds. So you can see also the clouds moving by. Let me get over here to this area. You see some of the lakes and some of the rivers, but mainly the lakes there into Kansas that show up very well. They don't have snow on them. You get into Iowa, and you were able to see some more of the river banks. But again, clouds are starting to fill back in. This is another little weak system, by the way, that is diving in from the north and west. At the moment, I don't see this is going to cause us too many problems as far as adding any snow flurry chance into the forecast tonight. It looks relatively dry in the profiles. We'll watch it. Typically, when they dig like that, they can't squeeze out a flurry, and the models don't see that. But it would literally be that. So, again, not worried on it. But it would keep the gradient up, and therefore, some of the thermometers may not be able to drop if you're exposed to a little more of the wind. Areas that are in valleys, you're going to drop like big time tonight, and you're going to get down to the upper teens. Areas that are a little more at risk of having the wind flow through, which would usually be the city of Louisville, likely will stay above the 20-degree mark and could even stay above 24 for later on tonight. Either way, because you're trading off the idea of the system allowing for more of a wind, you're going to have a little more of a wind chill. So brace for that. Wind chills in the teens. Sure bet tonight into tomorrow morning. How lovely the kids are going to enjoy that tomorrow. All right, there's your lake effect snow into the Great Lakes. Otherwise, actually, it's fairly quiet for us. They will benefit from the cold weather and the snow here the next 24 to 36 hours. We do have another chance to reinforce some of this cold air as we head into later on tomorrow night with a lighter wind. So tomorrow night looks to be the coldest night of this event. Tomorrow daytime looks to be the coldest of the daytime periods. So we have yet to get to the coldest of this particular wave is what I'm trying to say. This is just the very beginning of it you're feeling here today. Here's Futurecast showing this afternoon. There's that little wave so far as it's generating clouds tonight. We'll watch that. Tomorrow looks to be a sunnier day tomorrow. Beautiful looking day, but cold. Again, only in the 30s for highs. We get into tomorrow night, we do get cold. It'll be colder more than likely. However, that colder point will not likely happen at 6 or 7 a.m. that we're accustomed to. It may happen more at 2 or 3 a.m. We may see our low temperature because the wind begins to shift around to the south by early Wednesday. So we'll begin to reverse things and begin a rapid warming setup into Wednesday daytime. So at least Wednesday morning, while it will be cold, it won't be as brutal because you'll be improving every hour at that point near sunrise with the south wind leading to the pick of the week, which will be Wednesday. High clouds roll in, and then we get into an active setup with the weekend systems. All right, so here's your actual lows tonight. Again, the valleys will have a chance to cool and get colder than other areas. Wind chills will likely be in the teens for tonight. Tomorrow, as I mentioned, a lot of sun, but you just don't move much on the thermometer. Highs only in the 30s. So what about the weekend? Well, I'm going to show you again 2 different model ideas here coming up, how this is going to play out, because you see how the coldest of the year does indeed retreat back towards Siberia over the deeper snowpack on the other side of the globe. All right, and the other side of the northern hemisphere. So we really don't have a whole lot into Canada to work with here over the next 10 days. So you can still get snow out of this kind of a pattern. This is the real brutal cold I'm talking about. But you can see it located up there in this area into Siberia and other side of the globe. You can still get systems to take advantage of this, especially the ones that are digging across the eastern part of the Great Lakes and Northeast. But overall, the warmer air is going to be the rule for a lot of these systems coming through. It's going to be really tough for them. They're going to have to make their own cold air, basically, is what I'm trying to say. So looking at the polar vortex wind, was it the day after Thanksgiving I was on? I can't remember. This is what we were looking at to see it trend downward. It wants to trend downward, but then it's trying to sort of go back upward again. It's almost flat. There is at least warming going on, which is good, but we need this wind to relax more to see if we can get this cold pocket to move around a little more, to make things a little more interesting for the winter, the late December, January portion of winter I'm referring to there. All right, let me show you the Euro. Here comes system number 1, arriving late Thursday into Friday. Again, this is rain. It looks like a soggy washout of a day for Friday. If you got plans Friday, make them inside. Temperatures generally in the 50s. So, yes, it's rain we're talking about. It moves by quickly. We get a small break on Saturday, not much of one. And then Sunday, the next piece rolls in. Now, this one's a little more north, and the snow will likely be north as well because of that. At the moment, the rainfall amount on the second one is not trending as high as what the first one did. If you were to combine them, there's a chance you can get a solid inch out of this setup. Each one will be roughly about a ½ inch each out of this, so not anything excessive on rain. We'll take it. We need it. But it will impact either side of the weekend, a Friday and a Sunday, and maybe even a Monday as well. What is interesting about this, though, is that these little clippers that keep diving in behind it, you see the piece of energy there. It dives in. For now, we're thinking this is just going to increase the wind as we get into early next week, especially on Tuesday. But if you time these out, when these little digs happen, as the low is moving out of Texas, most of our low pressures are moving out of Texas. And you guys know that's always an interesting spot for us, right? Well, normally it is. You can get one of these little systems to time out perfectly to connect to one of these lows moving out of Texas. And then you can get a much more of a colder look and a backlash type of snow setup that can develop. But as I mentioned, you're not going to see that far in advance. And if you do, I wouldn't trust it, to be honest, because it's so sensitive to timing that if it's got perfect timing 5 to 10 days out, and there's so much that happens in adjustments between now and then, it's likely not going to hold. But it could be displaced now and start to come together. Maybe I'm wish casting here. People make fun of me for that. But I'm just telling you the truth. This is how you can get snow and a warmer setup. Everything has to align. And there are players on the field that can indeed do just that. But they've got to line up. And we'll just see how that works out down the road. Here's the GFS. Here's your Friday wave. Again, rain. Saturday break. Now the Sunday wave, again, it's a little wimpy with it, a little more south. With the rain, the heaviest of the rain, but the track is similar to the north. But it really wants to dig that clipper in as we early next week. It really dives it into the area and really chills us down. There's a big difference in temperatures, by the way, in the outlook next week between the Euro and the GFS. But still, it's interesting. If these pieces can line up, I think it's the second one that has a chance for that to happen. We could see a different forecast evolve here into next week. But right now, we're not ready to go into that level. All right. There you go. That's the setup today. That's easy, right? Yeah, nothing major, nothing significant, no weather drama, not yet anyway. So just enjoy the cold weather next couple of days. For those of you who love it, love go shopping in cold weather. Some of you love that. And have some hot cocoa, relax, get ready for some rainy days for the weekend. And yeah, we'll just see what happens next week. I got new long-term data coming out too tonight that I will show you guys tomorrow. I'll see you then. Have a good Monday.